Hello, everyone. Hi. Sorry I'm a little late. I was trying to figure out what top to wear. So let me give a hi to everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We can be here for about half an hour, 45 minutes. I have to get to the office. I'm back, forth, and I'm every which way today. Let me give some gratitude. I'm just going to spend a minute or so saying hi to everybody that's here. Susan, hello. You're the first. Susan Fortier. Texture Point, hello. SS, hello. Sherry Osinga is in the house. Welcome. Demetria, hello. Renee is here. Hello, Renee. Stephen Haggerty is in the house. Susan, we already said hi to. Kathleen the Elder is here. Carolyn K, welcome. E. Lee, hello. Yeah, we're going to talk about the virus, Carolyn. Grace's Glory, hello. Carla Phillips, hello. Roberta Collar Morals, Laura Terry Solaris, Elmin, welcome. Nancy Lepresti, hello. Wandering Eyes is in the house. Millie Malave, hello, welcome. MK Karen, Tyafirla, Donna Stephenson, Connie, Cat Mama. I'm a cat mama too. Noelle is in the house. She is the moderator extraordinaire. Julie Tirado, I believe we've already said hi to, but hello again. Glad you like the tea. So first things first about the tea, I did make a fresh new batch, but when it's gone because I'm going to have to order a bunch of stuff again. This last batch was pretty, I don't know why I've got a frog in my throat. I'm not sick. But I used the last of the elderberry berries and the flower. So when this last batch is gone, I'll have to reorder everything and start all over again. To be clear, we don't want to make any claims that are not true. We're not claiming that this is going to cure anything. I don't know of any clinical studies with the coronavirus and these particular herbs. However, there are some studies about herbs like elderberry having immunoprotective properties. So that's why we're making the tea. So I don't want this to become like a snake sales channel. Even though that sounds like a fun life, it's not what we do here. So last night I did a heart-centered remote. I did not do stage 4, the fourth step, just to let everybody know. Yeah, holy basil, tulsi, it's being researched for its ability to help in cases of complex PTSD and trauma. Sometimes I'll put it in because it tastes good. Also, Melissa is also a nervine. All plants have some antimicrobial properties because the plant constituents protect the plant they can't leave. Plants are stuck in the ground. So if they get attacked by a virus or a fungus, etc., they have to be able to defend themselves. And so it's those plant constituents that the plant makes to protect itself that we're researching for their antiviral and antimicrobial properties. You know, it's when people say it's no big deal, the coronavirus, or they tell you not to worry, I think that's a cognitive dissonance. Is that the correct term to use? Because every time I get out of the shower, this happens. I just came out of the shower. Because there's no reason to assume that people that were getting sick in China or Italy are different than those of us in the United States. And the problem with the United States is that we don't have the infrastructure of public health in place that other countries who do have strong public health policies have. And so in many ways, this is why People like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are talking about the public health being mandatory because, if nothing else, it can control for some these types of spreads. If you offer people basic services for free, we don't care where you came from, but we care that you came into the country and potentially can spread something, knowing that you have a safety net, whether it's paying a couple bucks a month or nothing at all, so that we can keep the general public healthy and safe. That's the argument for public health. And unfortunately, because public health was cut and the infrastructure in the United States is not set up, people are falling through the cracks. And the biggest problem is carriers, people that are having, young people who are having mild symptoms. Adult respiratory distress syndrome, which is found in people who have compromised immune systems, maybe a history of smoking, COPD, are at risk. So it's always interesting to me when I look on YouTube and some young person who's 20-something years old says, "Oh, don't worry, it's just affecting old people." Well, if you happen to be over the age of 50, she's talking about you. So the World Health Organization is putting out some really good information about washing hands, etc. I think people should prepare. I did some basic preparing. I went to one of these cheap stores yesterday with a friend of mine, Ursula, and I went to barata, cheap in Spanish. It's a lot of fun. And we bought up a bunch of stuff. We got, hello, doggy. Somebody saw Mila. Mila sits at the corner and says hi to everybody, including the dogs. And you can always tell because the dogs will say hi back. But yeah, so I got all the basics. Basically, what would happen if you were stuck in your home and couldn't leave for 3 months? That's basically what I got. So I live on beans and rice, so it wasn't particularly hard to prep. All right, so I've been, like I said, I did the heart-centered remote last night. I only got to stage 3. I didn't get to stage 4, or did I get to stage 4? I didn't do much with stage 4. Step 4, excuse me. So step 3 for people who are learning the heart-centered remote technique is step 1 is you put yourself in a white light, a shield of protection, and you prepare your room, your home for meditating. Locking doors, make sure you're not going to be interrupted, etc., etc. So step 1 is putting yourself in white light, a shield of protection to protect yourself energetically. You know, I sometimes will make a movement like this where I'm imagining this gold. I'm inside of a gold egg and there's white in the middle and gold on the outside. And like different visualizations to put yourself, step 1, in a shield of protection. Step 2 is that when you ground yourself, so you imagine white light coming up from the earth. This is why it's very powerful to do this meditation outside, if you're outside on the grass, because then you can really connect with Mother Earth. And in the shamanic tradition, the Bon tradition out of all over the world, but specifically the Bon tradition out of Tibet, our connection with the earth is really powerful. So because we're part of the earth. So you imagine white light coming up from the earth, coming up from the coccyx, and then you'll feel the energy coming up to the first chakra, what some people would call Kundalini. I use white light, other people use pink light, green light, whatever works for you. If it's a green Tara meditation, some people will use green to symbolize the earth. So that's the second phase, is you get the energy moving, coming up, and then from the sky energy coming down, 7th, 6th, and 5th chakras. And then they mingle, they meet in the 3rd and 4th chakra. So basically what happened was I went into the 4th chakra, and specifically you want to think about 2 thumbs above the umbilicus. So if you take 1 thumb above the umbilicus and then a second above the umbilicus, that's the core star. And then put your finger there. What you're feeling is your core star, your primitive brain, And this is even more ancient than the reptilian complex. This is our most primitive self. So if everybody would do that, find your belly button, and then a couple thumbs above your belly button. With me, it feels more like it's a 3, but that place, sometimes it's sensitive on people. That's your core star. So that is the most ancient part of us. So if you're thinking about ancient life forms like clams, scallops, right? They don't have a central nervous system yet, but they just have a gut. So I spent the weekend at the gastroenterology conference for UCLA medical school. Every year they do a gastroenterology conference. It was excellent. And we're really looking at how mental health can impact the gut. And we're seeing it more now than ever before. So when I was doing last night's meditation just for my own gut health, my own digestive health, I realized that there are certain people, if you feel like you're being controlled, or you feel like someone's lying to you, or you feel like somebody's manipulating you, that's where I feel it. If somebody is trying to lie or manipulate, you'll get a little twinge there in your core star. So my advice to people, if you think you're being played, or if you feel like somebody is trying to manipulate you, I just want you to learn the habit of getting into a relaxed state, and then focusing on the point 2 thumbs above the umbilicus. And then I want you, after you do that, go into your 4th chakra. You have low heart and high heart. And it feels sometimes like someone's stolen something. It almost feels like somebody took something. Someone's trying to take something away, that feeling. Now, if you are somebody with complex PTSD, you have to be careful you're not just in the body memory, right? That's many of us who are remote viewers have complex PTSD, because those are the people that often will go into this type of work, just because we've had to develop this more than most people in order to survive. That's why a lot of soldiers, a lot of the military will learn to do remote viewing, because it's more heightened. This type of meditation is more heightened in that population. So that was basically the thing I took away from last night's meditation, was that a lot of my gut problems started when I stopped listening to my gut, or when I started suppressing what my gut was telling me about certain relationships, certain situations. And so that was the main thing I wanted to share today from last night's remote viewing, was to start that technique and to really begin to think about how your gut is responding to people, and then then after that, trying to step back objectively and see, am I just reacting because I'm in a reactive mind? Is it just my monkey brain? Is it my body memory? Or is there something objectively wrong with the dynamics I have with this particular individual? So the other thing I want to talk about with coronavirus, and we can go ahead and we'll do a blitz. We can do a blitz for about 30 minutes, and I have to take off 45 minutes, is just the CDC has some good stuff. On YouTube, I saw the World Health Organization had printed some good stuff. It was a little bit terrifying, though. If you do have a compromised immune system, then I would do an account and a reckoning of your home. What do you need to be safe in your home for, 2-3 months? And, there's always Instacart, or, people can always deliver things if worse comes to worse. But I do think people need to prep if you are in a high risk category. It's also interesting. People had asked me about Donald Trump. I've really, since I saw that meditation about how we can collectively attack, and it leads us closer towards potentially war or a disastrous situation. I've been really trying to pray for people, pray for the president. I've been really trying to catch my own anger and vindictiveness, and because I'm a human being, and I can be as angry and as vindictive, sometimes more so than most people. I have that side to me that I have to work on. That's my karma, to work through that. Instead, I'm trying to show first compassion for myself, right? Because in step 3, we give ourselves love. We fill ourselves up with God's love, with Mother Earth's love, so that we make sure we are 100% safe and we're 100% loved. That's steps 1 through 3. Are you 100% safe? Are you 100% loved? And then you can go out and you can explore because you're safe. So I think that with this president, we're seeing the end of this presidency. I think that this is pretty much what we had seen in the last remotes, that he will be given the honor of resigning. I think the last approval rating I saw, he was between 38 and 40% and dropping. We had one of the worst market crashes in U.S. history today. I think it dropped close to 1,800 points. It might go up a little bit tonight, but this is not good, and no end in sight. Let's go ahead and just open it up. If anybody has any questions or things you want me to throw on. I also wanted to say that Eric Prince, there was a great article in the New York Times about how he was meeting to supply private armies to Afghanistan, working with Russia to supply private armies to Afghanistan in exchange for pulling out American troops. And it's interesting because we did the remote 2-3 years ago, for those people who've been with the channel for a while. And that's what we saw. And then it came out last week that, in fact, that is precisely what Eric Prince was doing. So is that illegal, or is that just a business meeting? I don't know. But so that is what we saw happening. And that's what's going on with Afghanistan and some of these other areas with trade, is that American troops will be leaving and they'll be replaced with private contractors in exchange for opening up trade routes to basically Russia and other countries. Tulsi Gabbard, I don't want to judge her, Tulsi Gabbard, but I think that I could see her making a lot of money off of working in the private sector in the military, because there's a lot of money to be made. They'll be paid. It's very dangerous work because they're going to be helping to protect convoys going through areas that traditionally there's been ambushing. There's been ambushing in Chechnya by fighters in Chechnya, Libya, Iraq. There's been a lot of people being attacked. And so the job of the contractor is to make sure that the stuff gets through, and it's very dangerous. So they're paid really well. But if you're Tulsi Gabbard and you think that people are coming back in body bags just to help with trade, and it has nothing to do with America's security, the most logical conclusion would be, okay, great. Let us, who are trained soldiers that do this for a living, be hired professionally if it's just going to be trade routes, and let American soldiers who joined because this has nothing to do with protecting America. From her perspective, it probably makes sense. It doesn't necessarily mean she supports Russia. It just means that it's the most, it's like when we did the remotes for Vladimir Putin, he kept saying, let's be reasonable. Let's be reasonable. People got mad at me, but my job is to put myself in the shoes of the other and to some extent make them human, in the sense that I'm trying to give a voice to their worldview, people don't think they're evil. Donald Trump doesn't think he's evil. He thinks that he's a victim. Same with Putin. He thinks he's being reasonable and that America's being unreasonable by blocking his trade. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a simple prayer, and then we'll do a general reading for the group. Sorry, we're starting. We talked a little bit too much. I know, I get it. People get annoyed. So here is your weekly reading, everybody. If you are watching this, from the time you are watching this, it applies to you. This is the collective consciousness for the group, what we all need to know in the coming weeks in order to take care of ourselves and those we love. So we're going to do a simple prayer. We're going to go in and we're going to do the collective read. And the idea of a collective read is that we ask Spirit to give a message which is relevant to everybody who is watching this video. Does that sound good? I think so. All right, let's meditate together. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us so that we can all make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for the planet, for our families, and to even help those we have strife with. And collectively we say, Amen. Amen, everyone. Let's go in. What do we need to do in order to help ourselves, our families, the people we love, the planet, as we have strife with? What is our message? Where we are at right now as a group, people had asked me how they read like whimsy reads, because I developed this way that I read. Everybody develops their own way. But 2 base cards, the base of the matter. We have the Fool card and we have the King of Wands as the base. Or I call that the 11th and 12th card. I think that what I'm seeing when I go into the energy of the base card for this group is that when one is educated, when one knows the rules, they can take more risk. This is what I'm feeling when I go into this energy. In plain words, to be wary of false information. You want to be prepped for any potential problems in the future. The King of Wands is coming in as the base that we all want to vibrate with. We want to draw this energy out. The King of Wands is the good judge. He has good judgment. He has good reason. Yehuda. He holds the staff of authority. He's not, this is not an emotional king. This is not somebody who's crying hysterically. This is somebody who has been put into a position of control or has been given the honor of holding the staff of authority because people trust this person's judgment. So I think the first thing I would recommend for this group with a King of Wands is that we know the difference between false rumors and facts, that we make sure we're looking at legitimate websites like the YouTube's World Health Organization. I just finished watching a really good channel. If you are a curious person and you are fascinated by medicine as much as I am obsessed with medicine. Roy Lab's stats, if you want to see the stats on who is, that's just to monitor the stats on the virus. But there's also Curiosity, the Curiosity stream if you want to see lectures. And there's I can't find the guy that does it. There's a guy that lectures for Curiosity Stream, and he goes through very basic information about the virus. But I like the fact that our base card is the King of Wands. So it's telling us to stay grounded, be educated, not be emotional, get our facts straight, keep ourselves organized. And then the Fool card comes in, who takes the leap of faith. In plain words, the main message for us right now is that get your facts straight, don't get hysterical. Being prepared is being prepared, and then when you understand the parameters of how to keep yourself safe, you'll be able to relax. If you don't know what's going on, if you don't have proper information, you're going to be all over the place. So King of Wands moves in, which is stay calm, get organized, go through your prep list, make sure you've got a couple months worth of whatever medications you need. Take care of all of that now and just go through the list, your medical list. Do you have enough toilet paper? Do you have enough shampoo? Just do an account and a reckoning of your medicine, do an account and a reckoning of your kitchen. Do I have enough food? I don't think we're going to lose water. I don't think we're going to lose electricity. But if you're worried, you can get a couple gallons of that and stick it somewhere. But the point is this. King of Wands is, he is in charge because this is like an Adam Schiff kind of energy. This is somebody who has their facts straight. Once you get your facts straight, and once you are taking care of your health, taking care of your home, you can relax a little bit. Star card is moving in for the group. So I would say overall, this is a group that is pretty clear, pretty logical. We like to play with the cards. We like to have fun here. But I would say by and large, the overwhelming majority of the people in this group are pretty much science-based. We play with the cards, but the backbone here is what's the data, what's the data, what's the data. That's the world of whimsy. Let's see the data. Star card, and then we have a nice Hermit card. So worst comes to worst, we all have to spend a little bit more time at home. But the good news is that we have a nice Hermit energy moving in for the next couple of weeks. So we're entering into a time of just falling in love with knowledge and learning. Check out the Curiosity Stream. They've got great documentaries on everything from medicine to history. If you're stuck in your house for 2 months, you might as well put yourself in courses and have some fun with it. What is above us? The Ace of Pentacles moving in the 4th house with the 9 of Wands. There's in the 3rd house, which is to feel defended or trapped, or a feeling like we can't leave, which makes sense because some people are going to be going in quarantine. With an Ace of Pentacles in the 4th house, I would say that what we're concerned about is money, our debt, our finances, but the Ace of Pentacles is going with the 3 of Cups. So I think that this is going to I think that we're going to see a break in this problem. I know that the Israelis are fast tracking a vaccine, and they said that it would be ready within like 2-3 weeks. So whether or not we're going to bypass the regular FDA to allow these medications that are going to be ready sooner, it's very possible, just because this is moving in the Ace of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups, which is a celebration after heartache, which leads me to think something is going to happen. It's going to happen relatively soon that is going to dramatically change the situation for the better. Right now, people are stressing too much. Thank you, Michelle. That's very sweet of you for the donation. What is around us? The 4 of Cups. Keep washing your hands, everybody. Sometimes when I use Perel, like if I put it on my hands, I then will wipe my nose with the Perel. And somebody laughed at me when they saw me do that. But I think theoretically it would work because you're sterilizing the opening of your nose, which is where the virus can get in, the microbes can get in. So I always do that, and then I go like that. And then you can always bring some like alcohol wipes and just wipe doorknobs and everything, or take a tissue paper when you're in a bathroom or whatever. Just good common sense. Thank you, Greeter. Very sweet of you. Hopes and fears, one's business, the business of the nation, and the final outcome, Ace of Cups. So we pulled double aces. It feels to me, going into the coronavirus thing, like it gets to be really, really scary, and then it just stops. It just it just seems to end. You can see here, we pulled double aces, ace here, and then a final outcome, ace of cups. So because of the way that the cards are falling, I think that the numbers are going to start dropping. And I think that, yeah, John Hopkins, and then you can follow the, there's this really, I wish I could find this guy. Let me see if, I was watching it last night and it was so much fun. For me, this is fun. Oh, Chubby Emu. Chubby Emu. This guy is so good. If you're fascinated by medicine and you want to hear a good medical explanation of coronavirus, check out, I just gave you his link. He is great. I found it so fascinating. So fascinating. All right, so the clarification here, a lot of work. I'm seeing a lot of work happening, a lot of some people leaving, some people, there is a feeling of frustration and disgust with the CDC health workers. There is some fighting regarding that I'm seeing. All I can tell you is that it looks like everything's going to be okay in a very short amount of time. So, like I said, I always read the 11th and 12th card as the two base cards, as the summary of the reading. And the summary of the reading is get smart, get educated, get factual information, and, live our lives. I don't think it's like DEFCON 5 or anything. But I do think in about 2-3 months, we're going to start seeing the economy coming back again. I don't think this is going to be protracted. And I think that we are going to probably get an approval. There's going to be some kind of emergency approval so that we'll be able to use some of these medicines that are currently not approved by the FDA. All right. I'm going to go ahead now and just look at how Bernie Sanders is going to do in Michigan. We're going to switch it over to the politics. Yeah, be smart, get our facts straight. Check out the Chubby Guy's lecture on the coronavirus. It's really good. Check out also the Curiosity Stream if you're as curious as I am and you want to know a little bit about everything. I think it's like $19 a year to have unlimited high quality information. Oh, Milter? Yeah, it's now called neurogastro. What do we call it? We call it neurogastro something or other. Neurogastro. You just heard the word. Anyway, UCLA was talking about the gut-brain response quite a bit. And in fact, with IBS, where we can't find an underlying condition for the irritable bowel syndrome, and the person is not, we don't know what the trigger is, we're looking at whether or not there's a history of eating disorders. Fear around food is sometimes associated with eating disorders and stomach problems. And if you look at anorexia nervosa, it's a control issue, a need to control something in one's life. And it goes back to what we had said about the third chakra, the core star. You feel as if somebody's trying to control you. You will physically feel it in the body at the core star and sometimes in the heart chakra as well, depending upon the type of relationship you have with the other individual. There are some studies on colloidal silver, Sandra, that's true, but the colloidal silver over the counter is 10 parts per million, which is the homeopathic dosage, and it's questionable whether or not 10 parts per million is strong enough to actually do anything. And I believe the FDA dropped the amount of silver in the solution to a homeopathic level, 10 parts per million, which basically means that it probably won't work. And this is something that the FDA has done a lot, and I don't know why it's done it, where it will find what the medicinal dose is of a particular supplement and then drop the dosage dramatically below what the studies show is effective, and then the person buys the product and it doesn't work, and then they don't believe in natural medicine. But again, the problem with the silver is, yes, it does have antimicrobial properties, but the solution, 10 parts per mil, might not be strong enough. Yeah, traveling outside the U.S., but you know what? I'm in California, so it's already here, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's look at Bernie Sanders in Michigan. Let's see how he does. Thank you, everyone, for the donations. It's very sweet of you. Oh, I want to make I know I'm all over the place today. I want to also say that I did the taxes. Yay! Whimsy did her taxes. And I want to announce that you all collectively, with me collectively, we the collective group donated $9,000 to charity last year. This channel raised we donated $9,000. I think that's pretty darn good. So it was kind of cool to do that. I was like, damn, $9,000. No wonder I don't have any money. Oh, that's okay. But it was like awesome, you know, like we raised $9,000. So good job, everyone. Michigan. Where we're Ace of Wands with the Moon card moving in as the base. If Bernie Sanders doesn't take Michigan, he will get out fairly quickly because he really is not interested in keeping the fighting going. I think he's going to drop out. You can see Five of Swords in the second house, and then the outcome is the Nine of Swords. However, Biden is very serious about working with Bernie Sanders. This is something that changed, and I think he's very serious about working with Elizabeth Warren because one of the nice things I got from doing remotes is this awareness that there are people in positions of power, people who have money that actually aren't sociopaths. They do have a moral compass. And there are people who are in positions of power that are having a real hard time with how the market's being manipulated, how things have gone, and understand there's some truth to what Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are saying. And there's something about a peaceful reunion of the Democratic Party. I don't see things being quite as dramatic in the Democratic Party as people assume. I don't think that there's going to be a huge fight. I think that, and I don't think that. Let me do one more throw. Does anybody remember the birthday of Bernie Sanders? I just want to check one more throw on him, but I think he's probably going to resign. I don't think he's going to make it just because of the cards I saw. Is he a Earth sign? Yeah, I see Sanders throwing in the towel and helping Biden. Yeah, he's the Virgo. That's what I thought. Let me I have to do this one more time. I just want to do a general throw on Bernie just to see how he's doing. He's very intelligent, like you go into his energy, he's very intelligent. He has a Fool card and Empress. He's got a lot of funding. He has a lot of power. He has the power of the majority. He's speaking with people from Biden's camp. They're very respectful, but they've already had a conversation with him about working together because it's like a feeling that his campaign is imploding from the inside out. Looks like there was also people in positions of power that had been working with him may also move away from him towards some kind of reconciliation with Biden's team. A peace offering is coming. He's thinking about what he wants to do. Yeah, peace offering. Not only a peace offering, but it looks like Sanders is going to be rousing his base to get behind the Democrats. I still see Elizabeth Warren. I got to go back in and take a look at Elizabeth Warren. I keep seeing she has such a strong potential to be the president, the VP and the president both. Her cards are so strong, stronger than any of the other candidates. That's why it's so weird. I just want to check Elizabeth Warren now. Thieves oil and oregano? Yeah. Look, my medical school's in Oregon, the medical school I went to, and then we have another one in Washington State, Bastyr University, and Natural University of Natural Medicine, which is where I graduated. High levels of vitamin C can shorten the duration of a virus. It also makes you feel better. Elderberry, also Echinacea, purpura, and augustifolium, or the stuff coming out of Gaia, which is called Quick Defense by Gaia Herbs, has been studied for. They infected people with a rhinovirus, and they had less adverse symptoms and a shorter duration with the Quick Defense from Gaia. That does have clinical studies. That's one of the reasons why I put a ton of elderberry into the tea I was making. Okay, I just want to check Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, she's got a powerful man next to her in the star card. This could be like the president or a leader. Working with another woman. And there's something about her having a relationship with another woman that this is the time of the woman, contrary to what people may think. It's partnership with another woman, being given an offer. She will be given an offer of partnership with another woman, and they're going to get a lot done. You can see the Empress in the 6th house, which is fertility, abundance. I think people are very scared of the economy without breaks. She's actually in a power position. She has the Magician in the 7th house with the Sun card. And I would not be surprised if she seems to play a very important part of the new economy that's coming up in by summer of 2020. She's very, very active. And she has some kind of relationship with Biden's campaign. You can see the Six of Cups is the final outcome, which is an alliance or a relationship potentially with anyway, that's what we see. So I really feel like Elizabeth, the thing about Elizabeth Warren's cards when you go in with her cards is that it's almost like every horrible thing she said was going to happen if they took the brakes off of the stock market. She said, don't do this. You've got to have brakes. You've got to have an infrastructure. You can't. And now it's happening. And so it scared the normal people, the good people, that, hey, we need rules, or this could end bad. This could be a global catastrophe. Those folks want Elizabeth Warren to be going to the G7. They want her actively involved. How that's going to play itself out, I don't know, but it puts her in a real power position. All right, so I just want to check on Donald Trump, make sure he's okay. I didn't vote for him. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a fan of Vladimir Putin. My job is to simply put myself in their shoes and to not go to war with anybody. Somebody had written, I was reading Cash Peter's comments because I love that channel. And somebody had said that they were mad at me because I had been praising Vladimir Putin. No, Putin was praising Vladimir Putin. I am just the messenger. Warren and Treasury, I would not be surprised with her cards that Warren was asked to do something like that, because the last couple of years have terrified certain people. And the more this plays itself out, the more people are going to start looking at senators and saying, could we get somebody in here that's, we need checks and balances. Yeah, it was one of the worst. It was the worst day in the history of the stock market in terms of point loss, I think, right? 2000. She's very strong, Lauren. All right. Donald Trump, how are you doing, Trump? He's still shaking hands. You know, there's this feeling when you go into his energy, when you put yourself in his shoes, that it's really emotionally very difficult for me as I sit in his shoes, because on the one hand, I'm saying to myself, I don't want to disappoint my fans. I don't want to disappoint the people that support me, who put their hand out. I feel like I need to keep this up because of my position. At the same time, I'm afraid for my safety. I'm afraid that of the potential situation. I feel very conflicted at this point. He's being advised to stop doing rallies and large groups. There's somebody coming in for him, the King of Cups with the Moon card is the base card. He's in a moon state. He doesn't know what to do. He's in a complete moon state. He needs people around him who care about him to pull him out of situations that potentially put him and other people at risk. The Hierophant is his first card. I think he's going to step back. I think we're going to start seeing the president stepping back a little bit and letting the professionals take charge, because he really is in a moon state. He's in a state where he really genuinely doesn't know what to do. And so there's a feeling that they're going to ask him to step back a little bit and just let the CDC and the experts take control of the situation. So you may see Donald Trump pulling back a little bit from public meetings, pulling back from certain things and allowing the authorities to take control of the situation. Yeah. This is not his fight. And they're going to do, like when a campaign loses, they do like a post-mortem. They do like an autopsy to figure out why a campaign didn't work. That's basically what's going to happen by summer of 2020 with this situation. You can see sun, summertime moving in, the Five of Swords. I think that the president, it would be better if he would resign because of everything that's going to be happening. But I see him abdicating power to some extent. It's a judgment issue. He is not in a position. Look, these cards suggest, because the judgment card's in the 8th house, that there's an awareness that this is outside the scope of his ability to judge. And that's huge, that there's some kind of understanding on the part of Trump that this is beyond him. I think he's going to step back and let the experts take control of the situation. Queen of Wands is the outcome, the authority. Okay, I have time for one more question. Oh, no, I don't. It's already 1:11. I got to go. All right. Did everybody have a good time? I'm sorry we're so frazzled today. Be responsible. Get accurate information. Don't buy snake oil. Keep yourself safe. If you are at high risk, make sure you've got a couple months worth of your medicine, food, etc. And like I said, the King of Wands came as our base, factual information, and then the Fool card. Then we can relax. When we have real information and real ways to protect ourselves, then we can be the Fool. Then we can relax and feel safe. That's really the takeaway of today's reading. Thank you, everyone. God bless. If you're still trying to get into it for a reading, go to tarotwithwhimsy.com, and I will see you next time. Sorry I couldn't stay longer. Bye.